Californian J-pop inspired idol group SORB3T received a huge amount of backlash after a TikTok that they posted. In fact, the reception to this was so bad that the members were even doxxed. So I want us to go through everything that's happened, the TikTok itself, the group SORB3T themselves, and what actually the problem is. Like I already said, SORB3T are an indie idol group, which means that they are independently run and that they're not part of an entertainment agency, which would be the norm for a lot of idol groups. They're fairly new, they're a pre-debut group, which means that they don't actually have any music yet. There's nothing recorded, there's no music videos. But they have been doing performances where they lip-sync to things. And even one performance of their own original song, which has yet to be properly recorded and released. But when you hear about an idol group, you would generally think about J-pop or K-pop, which I think probably most of you went straight to K-pop. This group, though, is not from Korea or from Japan or anywhere around there. They are a US-based group who are in California. And there are 3 members to this group. We have Berry, Alice, and Ash. And you may be wondering, what could possibly be so bad that these 3 girls have done to have the entirety of TikTok cancel them and get themselves doxxed? What did they do in this TikTok that was so badly received? Well, just take a look.
1, 2, so sweet! Hello, we are SORB3T! We are an idol group based in California, and today we wanted to teach you guys our call and responses!
Hello, I'm Alice, and I am the green member of SORB3T, and my emoji is a little 4-leaf clover, and I like to bring luck to all of my fans. So for my call and response, I sort of incorporate that. It's pretty simple. Basically, I'm just gonna go lucky, lucky, and then all together go Alice. Ready? Lucky, lucky, Alice! Thank you!
Hello everyone, my name is Berry, and I'm the leader and pink member of SORB3T. So I'm going to teach you my call and response. So I start out by saying, strawberry, and then you repeat back, blueberry. And when I ask, who's everyone's sweet idol, you're going to say, Betty-chan. Are you ready? Strawberry, blueberry. みんなの甘いアイドルは Betty-chan. Hi, Betty desu.
I'm the red member of SORB3T. I'm going to teach you guys my call and response. So mine is based off my Oshi mark, which is the red dragon Mahjong tile. And quick history lesson, my call and response includes 2 moves from Mahjong, Hon and Kan. Hon is a 3 of a kind, which represents SORB3T as a trio, and then Kan is a 4 of a kind, which represents SORB3T, and as well as you guys. So mine's pretty long, but bear with me. It's going to go clap, clap, Hon, Hon, clap, clap, Kan, Kan, clap, clap. And then I'm going to call Tsumo, which is a winning move in Mahjong. And then I'm going to go, it's my victory. All right, ready? 1, 2, Bon, bon, Kan, Kan, Tsumo, watashi no tachi. Thank you guys.
So there's a lot going on in this TikTok, and I think we need to delve a bit deeper into what the problems are. So firstly, a lot of people have taken issue with the group in general, saying that having an idol group when you are American-based is cultural appropriation. So is that the case then? What are idol groups? What makes them Asian? In general, nowadays, when you hear about an idol group, you'll think of K-pop like BTS or Blackpink. Or maybe you think of some Japanese groups. The term idol, though, originated from Japan, and it was used to refer to somebody who was normally part of a group, but they didn't have to be. These people were trained to be idolized. This training starts at a really young age, normally as preteens or teenagers. Then their whole life becomes about training in singing, in dancing, in acting, and other skills. And it takes years before these people debut. It's very different from the way that we would generally think that groups come together in the West. People meet their friends and they decide to start a band or a group and then they go off together. Whereas these people, they train and they're put together into groups with the hopes of debuting one day. And from what we know about all of this, it's really, really difficult. It's not just going along and singing and dancing and having a happy time. It is hours and hours of work. It's very little sleep, very busy days, not enough food, and absolutely not enough sleep. But the purpose of all of this is not just to create somebody who's good at dancing or good at singing. It is to create a brand. Idols are symbols of the ideal, and they're meant to be idolized by adoring fans. The whole point is to get fans to spend lots of money on them. And that is not in any way to say that just because that's how the industry works that you shouldn't enjoy K-pop, J-pop, whatever kind of idol group it is that you like. And it's also not to say that the idols themselves don't care about their craft. I can't imagine that anybody would put themselves through that amount of training and those difficult hours if they didn't at least somewhat like what they do and somewhat care about the people who are listening to their music and watching them in dramas. This is not meant to be a negative talk about the idol industry. This is just the reality of what it is. But getting back to the groups themselves. Normally within groups, everybody will have their own role. These can be roles like the leader of the group, the visual of the group, which is essentially just the best looking member, the 막내, which I'm absolutely sure I'm saying wrong, I'm so sorry, which is the youngest member of the group, lead singer, lead dancer, lead rapper, things like that. And although the group will have a singular cohesive image, a lot of the time in that, the individual idols will have their own separate image that is meant to be unique from the group too. This gives the fans different things to like about different groups. So the more types of personalities and members that you have within a group, the more likely it is that there will be somebody for everybody. And often these idols will have their own call and response for their fans, which is what you saw in Sorbet's TikTok. The three of them were trying to show their call and responses before they had a performance. We don't need to play it again, it's okay. But if idols are generally an Asian phenomenon, is it not then cultural appropriation for a Californian-based group to call themselves an idol group? Especially considering they're not part of an entertainment agency. They weren't scouted from a young age and they weren't trained. Well, firstly, we need to get one thing out of the way, and that is that there are indie idol groups. Although the norm is that idols will be scouted at a young age and then trained, there are, of course, groups who just form together and make it work. One example of this is the Japanese alternative idol group Bish. It is hard for groups like this to become as popular as the heavily managed and heavily funded entertainment agency groups, but they do exist. So that's one thing we can tick off the box. It's okay that they're an indie group. But what about them being from California? K-pop is pretty limited to Korea. Now, I don't want to say that as a blanket statement for everything, just in general, it's limited to Korea. Although there are other groups across the world who sing in Korean and make K-pop and aren't Korean. J-pop, on the other hand, does have a history of being done outside of Japan, specifically in America. There is actually a name for Japanese idol groups, which is Kaigai, or overseas idols. According to Stephanie Choi, a postdoctoral associate at the Asia Research Institute at the State University of New York at Buffalo, there are major misunderstandings about the difference between K-pop and J-pop. J-pop has been popular in the US as a youth subculture through American fantasization of Japan, Choi says, while K-pop became popular among Korean and Asian American communities first, and eventually spread out as a mainstream genre in the US. So when videos, or in this case Sorbet as a group, are judged based on an understanding of K-pop, misunderstandings arise. While there aren't many K-pop groups with American members, Americans who participate in Japanese pop groups have their own name, Kaigai, or overseas idols, and have become much more widely accepted, even by Japanese audiences. And evidence can be found of Kaigai idols really being accepted. So to say that Sorbet being an idol group in and of itself is cultural appropriation just seems to be incorrect. And honestly, I don't see anything wrong with it. They're just having a bit of fun, they're doing their dances, they plan on making music, and that's all great. If you want to see a real problematic version of that, look at when Ollie London tried to do K-pop, because he was identifying as Korean. Sorbet, on the other hand, come out and say we're California-based. They're not trying to pretend to be a J-pop group based in Japan. The thing is, though, that a lot of people aren't actually taking issue with the group itself. Of course, some people are, but for the majority of it, it's just people taking issue with one specific member, and that is Berry. And this is because of her call and response.
Hello everyone, my name is Barry, and I'm the leader and pink member of SORB3T. So I'm going to teach you my call and response. So I start out by saying, strawberry, and then you repeat back, blueberry. And when I ask, who's everyone's sweet idol, you're going to say, Betty-chan. Are you ready? Strawberry, blueberry. みんなの甘いアイドルは Berry-chan. Hi, Betty desu.
So Berry can be seen to be speaking Japanese in this, and it seems like she's doing a Japanese accent on two of the words, strawberry and blueberry. This is the thing that got the most backlash for the group, with people saying that she is mocking Japanese people and mocking Japanese accents with her accented words, with the speaking Japanese, and with her mannerisms. Let's talk about the mannerisms first, because that's something that's going to be a little bit more brief. And that is, it is a performance. She is putting on a character for this role, and I think it's a little bit weird to say that she's putting on a Japanese character. I think if you look at this, at the way that she's moving and the cutesy movements and the cute way that she's speaking, if you look at that and you see Japanese, then perhaps you're the problem. I know that that sort of behavior has been heavily associated with Japanese culture and Japanese women specifically. I understand that, and I'm not trying to sweep that under the rug and pretend that it doesn't exist. But this is the same kind of behavior that is displayed by gamer girls on Twitch, or e-girls, or cosplayers, or a whole wealth of people. But if somebody sees somebody behaving like that, or acting that way, or speaking that way, and their immediate thought, and the immediate thought that they need to put out into the world, is that that is somebody trying to act Japanese, that seems a bit off to me. I don't think it helps that in trying to defend a culture, we continue to put stereotypes onto a culture. But let's move on then to the accents and to the speaking Japanese.
Strawberry, blueberry. みんなの甘いアイドルは Berry-chan. Hi, Betty desu.
For the speaking Japanese part, people are allowed to speak other languages. There is absolutely nothing wrong with speaking another language. Unless it's like one of those secret languages that other cultures don't want you to speak. But that's a whole area that I'm not educated on and is also not relevant. If somebody wants to speak Japanese or German or Chinese or Afrikaans, they can. They can go ahead and do that. In fact, I think it's a good thing if people can speak other languages. I mean, there is the whole idea of the ignorant English speaker who only speaks English, and the only way that we're gonna get out of that is if we learn other languages. But when she said strawberry and blueberry, that sounds like English with a Japanese accent, which is what a lot of people took offense to, saying that she is mocking them.
Strawberry, blueberry. みんなの甘いアイドルは
The main reason people are upset is because of the accent that Berry is using during her call and response. She is trying to mimic a Japanese accent when she's saying English phrases. And it does come across as very weeaboo, fetishizing Japanese culture.
And that is not the case. Japanese, like a lot of languages, has loan words, which are words taken from other languages. English examples of this are the word cafe, which is French, or kindergarten, which is German, and we even have phrases like déjà vu. These are not originally English words, but they've been adopted into the English language and can now be considered English words. And this is common in Japan as well. Blueberry and strawberry are two of the words that have been adopted into the Japanese language. Because the Japanese word for blueberry is
blueberry.
And there are two ways to say strawberry in Japanese, one of them being ichigo,
ichigo,
and the other one being
strawberry.
So when Berry was doing her call and response and she was saying these words with what sounded like a Japanese accent, that is because it's just the way that you would pronounce these words in the Japanese language. She was simply speaking Japanese. And I'm just going to repeat myself, I don't think there is any problem in somebody speaking Japanese, whether that is among friends, in a country, out of a country, or in music. The only time it becomes a problem is if you're mocking. which is not what she appeared to be doing. Still though, people were really angry about this, and this did lead to Berry apologizing.
Hey everyone, this is Barry. I just wanted to hop on really quick and address my call and response in Sorbet's latest TikTok video. So first off, I just want to start out by saying that I genuinely and wholeheartedly apologize to every single person that I have upset or that I have offended with my call and response. I truly did not have any ill intent, but I also understand that I've hurt a lot of people, and for that I am sorry. I, as a white person, have an insane amount of privilege, and I will never truly understand the struggles that people of color go through. And I did not mean to undermine or ignore or disregard any of those struggles, and I am sorry. Now, I did want to give some background on my call and response and explain why it was the way it was. The reason why my call and response is in Japanese, despite Sorbet releasing music in English, is because when I eventually have my own tracks, I plan to release solo music almost exclusively in Japanese. And I figured that since I'm the same person, whether I'm solo or in a group, that I could use the same call and response in both instances. Also, my boyfriend, who is Japanese, unintentionally came up with part of my call and response. One day we were just talking about my idol career, and on a whim he just made up something, and I ended up wanting to incorporate it because I'm all about the strawberry aesthetic and my online alias is associated with blueberries, so I thought that it was perfect for me. I thought that since my call and response is in Japanese, that if I pronounced the words strawberry and blueberry the way that the katakana would be read out loud, that it would be okay. And I see now that I was wrong. I've already got another call and response picked out for Saturday, but if you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Please leave me some suggestions. And hey, if you come up with one that I like even more, maybe I'll even use it. Again, I apologize. Thank you. And I really hope you guys will continue to support Sorbet in our future endeavors. Take care. Also, I know that my roots are bad. Let me live, please.
And Ash from the group also released a statement.
Hi guys, it's Ash here. I never thought I'd be making a video like this on my own TikTok, but I like to address the whole sorbet situation from my perspective. Also, apologies in advance. I'm looking at a script right now, so I can mention everything that needs to be said. So if you see me looking off camera or a little bit to the side, it's because I'm reading off everything. First, I'd like to show my thanks and my appreciation for all the support we've been given. I never thought that our video would garner this kind of reaction in the first place. Now, I just want to touch base about us as a group. I understand and hear all the criticism we've been receiving about our performance and our talents as an idol group. All the original work we do is from our very own hands, and we do plan to release more with your continued support. And I'd just like to say that although we aren't the best that there is, we are most definitely trying. And I know we will continue to grow and learn with each new experience. Now regarding the solo stuff and my cosplay accounts and such, I don't ever really plan on going solo. I do occasionally release YouTube song covers and on Instagram as well every now and then, but that's mostly it. And as much as there are people who support us, I know there are also people who don't, and I'm not going to make the effort to continue to reach out for them in hopes of anything. But in regards to that, I would like to keep my cosplay content and my sorbet content completely separate. If you want to support me as Ash in sorbet, then please do so because of my efforts in sorbet. But if you want to support Ash as in Tokyo Ash for my cosplay content, then please do so there. I'd like to keep those two separate, and I've never really wanted them to cross over. And I know I've garnered some criticism because of my call and response as well, because it is in Japanese. And I just want to say that because I've only ever learned Riichi Mahjong, I've decided that it is only appropriate to use the correct terms. And I understand that Mahjong is definitely originally a Chinese game, but there's a vast number of differences between Japanese and Chinese Mahjong. Now, I've also had some questions regarding as to what kind of Asian I am. It really doesn't matter. I wish to withhold that information, so please respect that.
So what has happened because of all of this is that Berry has had to apologize for speaking Japanese, and in an attempt to curb racism, Ash is being asked what kind of Asian she is. It's just transcended into madness. But the issues do not end here, because there were some other problems that people had with Berry. And in fact, if you go and look at all of the response videos that people are making about this situation, people in the comments are saying that they have no problem with the other members. They like Alice and they like Ash. They just find Berry to be problematic, whether that is for the call and response video itself or for some other reasons. Other reasons being that people believe that she is Asian fishing. If you look at Berry's personal TikTok, or if you scroll back on her Instagram, you can see that she does a lot of cosplay, and as such has done a lot of cosplay makeup to look like anime characters or other related characters. Now the makeup used in that is just cosplay makeup, but people are pointing to one image in particular, which is a newer one, which was posted on the Sorbet account. And in that, people think that she has edited her eyes to look more Asian. Because if you zoom into it, it looks like there's a little bit of a wobble, that it had been edited and something was slightly off. There could be multiple reasons for this. It could be that the makeup was slightly off, it could be a distortion of the camera, or it could have been editing on purpose to make herself look Asian, which, if that is the case, yeah, that's Asian fishing, and we can't be defending that. And this is the part where I get a little bit confused about it, because on the one hand, I don't want to downplay something like that if that is what she is doing. And on the other hand, I don't want to outright accuse her of it in case we're all wrong, and in case it was one of the other two options. It is hard to know sometimes which stance you should take on things, because there are obviously people online who edit themselves or do specific, very specific kinds of makeup along with editing to try and make themselves look Asian when they're not. Which is just weird. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? It's very odd, and it is just fetishizing. It is a huge issue, and I have absolutely no idea what goes into the mind of somebody who just decides one day, I am going to edit my photos to make myself look Japanese, or to make myself look Korean, or to make myself look whatever. Why would you think you're going to get away with that? Why would you want to do that? You're not Asian. Everybody knows you're not Asian. Stop it. I don't get it. And it is such a bad thing that I'm just like very reluctant to just say, yeah, that is what Berry is doing, because it seems to just be in one case that this looks very prominent, that the eye thing looks very prominent. And let's be honest, like in that photo, she does not look typically East Asian. She looks like a white person. But you can see that there are some features being made more prominent. So is she not? I don't know. I would actually love to hear your thoughts on that particular part. And she herself didn't speak about this part in her apology, potentially because most people were just talking about the call and response video. I haven't seen too many people talking about the eye thing, but it was big enough that it felt important to bring up. So essentially my stance is this: I don't want to immediately condemn her just in case, but if this is something that she's doing and she is just fetishizing Japanese people, then that's really gross and wrong, and yeah, she should be called out for that. But for the rest of the video, for the speaking Japanese, for the mannerisms, for the call and response, for the being part of a J-pop inspired idol group, it's not really that bad. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that it's not cringe, because it's really, really cringe. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that idol groups are cringe, I'm just saying this particular video is really, really cringe. But being cringe is not a crime, and you know what? I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys, sometimes I really wish that I had the balls to be more cringe and just do things that I want to do and have fun. Because they're just doing things they want to do and they're having fun. And it's, you know, it hurts me to watch it. But again, it's not a crime. The only thing that I could see that would be a problem here is if she is editing her pictures to make herself specifically look Asian, East Asian. But beyond that, I don't think you can really cancel somebody for being a weeb. And as a result of all of this, the entire group, not just Berry, has said that they've been doxxed. We are currently being doxxed. We were just 3 girls innocently chasing our dreams and did not want it to come to this. For our safety, we need some time away to heal, but we'll see you again soon. There is no reason that because of this, that people needed to go and dox them. It is absolutely never okay to dox people. Absolutely not. And I don't understand why we are still doing it. And from what I'm understanding from this, it's not just Barry, the person that people were actually taking issue with, who is doxxed. It was all 3 members of the group. Even if somebody does something terribly problematic, you don't need to dox them. You can call people out. You can educate them. There is no reason to put them in danger and to expose their personal information online. It's just a bit of a problem that we don't give people an opportunity to grow, because even if you see all this and you still think, no, I'm not okay with it, what they did was terrible, you can voice that opinion. You can try and educate people on what you think is the case, but you can't go then and harass people. It's just not okay, and people took it way, way too far. People take things too far on the internet these days. It was a controversy that didn't need to come to this. And I'm sure the members of the group are okay, and I'm sure in time they will move on from this. But seriously, don't dox people. Just don't. But beyond all of this, there are people that are defending them, actually. Although most voices are calling them out and talking about how they're problematic, or specifically saying that Barry is problematic, others are saying a little bit more level-headedly that maybe we are being a little bit overdramatic. People making fun of Sorbet be the same MFs who have maladaptive daydreams about being idols themselves. The sorbet stuff is such a perfect example of how mean the internet has become. You bitches never got a chance to be bullies in real life, so you use the anonymity of the internet to dogpile whoever you can, and it's crazy how normalized it's become. I'm a former Kai Guy idol. I did this for 6 years, and sometimes I miss being on stage dancing with my friends. Sorbet did nothing wrong. I support them with my heart and hope they survive this. Trying to have fun as an idol while living overseas is not a crime. So what's going to happen now? Well, presumably Sorbet will continue to perform and they'll put out music like they planned. They did say that they will be back soon. I'm going to be honest, music-wise, I don't have high hopes, but I'm not the target audience for it, so maybe some people really love it and hopefully the group have fun with it. Although I feel like maybe they won't be speaking Japanese anytime soon. Berry did say that she has plans to release some solo stuff. The other members didn't, so we'll see what happens there. And as the internet does, it will forget about this in a few days, except for any time that somebody says they like sorbet, somebody will be like,
don't you know that they're horribly problematic and racist?
Without actually giving any information, because that's how the internet works. And yes, I do think they'll continue to be cringe, but it's not the end of the world. The world will keep spinning if people are cringe. In fact, the world is still spinning and most people are really cringe, so it's okay. But for now, this was the story of Sorbet, cancelled before they even debuted. Thank you so much for watching this video. Of course, please let me know in the comments what you thought about all of this. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm dumb? Just, be nice about it in the comments. And if you don't feel like commenting that, then let me know in the comments if you listen to any idol groups. I personally really like baby metal. I don't really know many idol groups, to be honest with you. It's just not circles that I'm involved in. But I like baby metal, have done for a few years. Anyway, of course, please do subscribe to this channel if you like this video or if you want to check out some other videos as well. It really does help me out, and you can also turn on all notifications, not personalized, just to make sure that you're up to date with new videos. Because my schedule is all over the place, to be perfectly honest. Like, comment, share, do all the things that I'm supposed to ask you to do at the end of a video, including if you want to follow me on social media. I am VangelinaSkov everywhere. And most importantly, have an absolutely wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. Bye. I was gonna go 1, 2, so sweet, but I changed my mind, so bye.